Hello, everyone. Welcome to our presentation today from Signal Connect. It's our sixth. This one's called Internet from Signal Connect, a solution for everything, everywhere, all at the same time. So I'll start out by introducing myself. My name is Mike Kokenderfer. I'm the sales manager for the Signal Group. My telephone number is 248-896-8601. My email address is mikek@signalconnect.com. And I also have a landing page on our website, and that is signalconnect.com/coach. Today we're going to start out by talking about the different kinds of internet connections that are available. And so the first one, dial-up, right? If you were around in the 90s, you remember that. And believe it or not, it still exists. It's still out there. We see customers in the middle of nowhere that are still using it, believe it or not. DSL, right? Technology from the early 2000s is still around. And then you get into some of the primary ones. So cable, a lot of you probably have that. Fixed wireless, of course. I'm sure some of you have that. Satellite internet. And then fiber, sort of a gold standard. So those are the different types of connections. And so is there a difference? Yep. There are a ton of high-speed options right now in 2023, but they're not all the same, right? And some of them are more similar than others, but there are differences, and some of those differences are extreme. The best option for you, of course, is the service that works best with what you use internet for. And everybody's got a little bit different of a use case, right? And so we're going to talk a little bit about that now. And so the first option, fixed wireless. So fixed wireless, it's service that comes from LTE. And so like if you look at your cell phone, your cell phone has internet on it. You don't have to be connected to Wi-Fi. And so you can use that same service that you use on your phone to make a Wi-Fi network from. And so those are usually for a house or a business. They're single carrier solutions, meaning that internet's coming from a single wireless carrier, one of the majors, T-Mobile, Verizon, or AT&T. For RVs and boats, there's multiple carrier solutions that are available, and those are great. So some of the pros, right? Download speeds up to 100 megabytes a second, upload speeds up to 50 megabytes a second. In our tests in-house, we've actually exceeded 100 megabytes a second, so that's awesome. On the con side, so the first thing is there's data caps. And, there's a good range of data caps available, starting from like 25 megs all the way, 25 gigabytes all the way to like 600 gigabytes. And so it's a wide range, but you're always going to run into some kind of a data cap. The second thing is reduce speeds with high network congestion. So, again, think about your phone. Think about a time where maybe you've been in a mall or a stadium or something like that, and there's tens of thousands of people around there. And you look down at your phone and, you got 5 bars. You're thinking, this is great. And then you go to make a call and you realize you can't. And so that just means that network is congested. And so just like that can happen with fixed wireless. And so you may have times where speeds are slowed down because so many people are on that same network. The best use cases, if you're in a rural area, this works great as long as you have a cell phone signal. RVs and boats when they're near shore, I should say, awesome service. This is phenomenal for them. Redundancy or like a failover for business, it's a great use case. Remote monitoring, so we have a customer that has solar fields around the country, and they use fixed wireless to stay on top of whatever's going on with those solar fields at all time. And then, of course, vending machines, anything with a credit card reader on it, right? If it's got a credit card reader, it's got to get that internet from somewhere. And so it's typically fixed wireless, though. It also sometimes comes from satellite. The next option is cable. And so, again, a lot of you probably have this. That just means they're using the cable TV infrastructure to bring internet. So this is most commonly seen in suburbs, right? In just about every suburb, there's some kind of a cable internet solution. Speeds are usually somewhere between like 100 megabits a second to a gigabyte a second. And, there's packages a little bit lower than that, but that's usually what you see. So the pros, fast speeds, super reasonable pricing, right? You're always going to find a really reasonable price for cable internet, especially if you have like their video product with it. So cons, similar to fixed wireless or with wireless service, right? If there's a lot of people in your neighborhood using that same bandwidth, so think about like evenings, weekends, if there's a lot of people working from home in the same area, you'll see that sometimes that network will get congested and you'll have slowed speeds. Happens in my house all the time. The best use cases, homes and small businesses, places like auto repair shops, nail salons, things like that, they can use cable internet very, very easily. Next one is satellite. And so satellite, you can just think of that as internet that's beamed down from a satellite to Earth. Very similar to how DirecTV and Dish work or satellite TV. It just provides internet instead. So in rural and remote areas, this is the greatest thing ever, right? There's areas of the country where you can't even get a cell phone signal. Well, this is how you get it. So people that once had to rely on dial-up internet, again, I mentioned in the beginning, there's people still using that. Satellite internet totally revolutionized things because, somebody had a 56 kilobyte connection where they could barely even surf the internet, and all of a sudden they can watch Netflix, right? That was a game changer, and it's still a game changer. There's a lot of cases where it's awesome. So the pros, it's available at every address in the United States. Literally every address can get satellite internet as long as there's a line of sight, right? You can't say that for any other type of internet or any other internet service provider. There's a wide variety of speeds and pricing, very similar to how LTE works, right? Each address is going to have usually a variety of packages available, and whether those are different speeds offered or it's different data caps offered, right? There's always going to be choices there. And then it's available for boats. If you're offshore, satellite internet or VSAT's the way you're going to stay connected. For RVs, there are more limited use cases of it. The antennas tend to be very cost prohibitive, but they are working on, sort of getting that changed up. And so on the con side, one of the biggest ones with satellite internet is that there's latency with it, about 700 milliseconds with most carriers. And if you're a gamer, that's not a great experience. So imagine holding your Xbox controller, you push one of the buttons, and then, just under a second later, it actually reacts to it, right? It's a terrible experience for gaming. And then, same thing, it's data caps, right? So data caps can be sort of limiting depending on what package you get. And, again, equipment's super cost prohibitive for RVs. And then you get into fiber. And fiber is the gold standard when it comes to internet. You've got speeds up to 10 gigabytes a second. I mean, that's insane. And there's businesses in more urban areas that can get that. And, again, that's super revolutionary, especially if you have a lot of users. So generally, again, it's found in urban areas or large suburban areas. So in Michigan here, Detroit will have it. We have it in various areas in Novi where our office is at, and you'll sort of see that around the state and around the country. So the pros, super fast connection. You're not going to find anything better than that. And the pricing is generally good. Even if it's dedicated fiber for business, you'll find it's pretty good. The cons would be its limited availability. You're not going to find it everywhere, unfortunately, but at some point that will change. Best use case is homes. If you have it available, you should get it. It's great. For small businesses, you can get a shared bandwidth package with fiber, and you're going to love it. If you're a medium or a large size business, you want to go with dedicated fiber. Having your own little piece of the internet's a game changer. So what's best for you, right? Every address in the country is going to have a number of options for them, whether it's urban or remote. And those choices will range from like carrier choices, right? So maybe you only have one kind of internet available in your area, but you'll always have companies to choose from, right? Vendors to choose from. And then in other areas, if you're in a suburban area or an urban area, you're going to have a lot of different choices between packages, carriers, et cetera. You'll have a lot to choose from. And again, the best choice for you is based on what you do with the internet and how many people you have using it. And so I put together this chart for suggested internet types based on usage, right? You can see it ranges from 1 to 2 people in a house. They're not streaming video. They're just using it for shopping, surfing, et cetera. And you get away with as little as 5 megabytes a second for that. As your users go up, your speeds need to go up to be able to accommodate that. You get into video streaming, SD video streaming, you get away with that for 5 to 10 megabytes, right? But only one person or one stream is generally going to work for that. When you go into HD, you need more bandwidth, 10 to 30 megabytes a second. More users, more devices, the more you need. Online gaming, that's where you're going to need some higher packages, and you're going to need a connection like a cable or a fiber, even a fixed wireless will work for that. And the more users you have, the more speed you need. And then finally, working from home, 40 megabytes a second is what we recommend. If you're video streaming or you're talking through a video conference through Zoom or Teams, you're going to need more bandwidth. And so you see the different choices there, right? Most of these carriers will work quite well. As you get into online gaming, that's where you're not going to use satellite. Working from home, satellite and fixed wireless will generally work unless you're in an area where you can't get more than a 25 megabyte a second connection. So when you have a business, you have tons of options, right? So a small business, again, you'll have a great experience with fiber, even if it's shared bandwidth. You also do well with cable. We see things like auto repair shops and nail salons that, they can get away with 25 meg connection. It'll work great. Once you get into medium to large size businesses, we recommend going with dedicated fiber. Again, that's your own piece of internet. It's not being shared with anybody in the area. It'll give you the best performance, the most consistent experience, and a lot of users can be on that and they can enjoy, a great working environment. We also like satellite internet and fixed wireless as like fail-safe options. Again, if your primary carrier goes down, fixed wireless and satellite will be there for backup. The pricing for plans like that tends to be really inexpensive. I mean, you get a satellite backup connection for as little as $50 a month, right? And if your primary connection goes down, suddenly your business goes down, terrible situation, you can totally avoid that. So what if you're in a car, truck, RV, or boat? You can still do it, believe it or not. So again, fixed wireless, it's a great option for you if you're on land. And it works well for you if you're near shore, right? And so the cool thing about these applications is that you have these multi-carrier options available, right? So there's devices that'll pull signal from T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon at the same time. And then whatever one's getting the best signal, that's what they're going to use. And so that tends to give you the best experience. Now, if there's no satellite, or if there's no cell towers available, it's not going to work well. But it'll work great in most cases. Cellular signal boosters, we've done a couple of presentations on those. It's a great add-on for fixed wireless. Whether you're at home, business, whether you're on the go, there is a solution for you that will greatly enhance what you're doing, and not just with your fixed wireless, but with your wireless devices as well. When you're getting into offshore applications, satellite's what you're going to want. You're not going to be able to connect to a cell phone if you're 20 miles offshore. And so there's a ton of options available that'll keep you connected no matter where you're at in the world. So why would you change what you're doing? Well, there's a lot of reasons. I'm sure that just about everyone watching's had instances where they didn't love what they had at home or at their business, right? Whether you're working from home and your video stream goes down when you're on a Zoom or a Teams meeting. I've had it happen. Or you're trying to watch something streaming and all of a sudden it starts buffering, right? There's a lot of different reasons to choose to switch. Sorry, I can't talk. But it's not difficult, especially if you're at a house. If you want to switch ISPs, it takes very little time and very little effort, especially when you work with the right company. Hint. And so, again, even if you're a business, there's a lot of ways that you can choose. There's a lot of ways to change what you're doing. And if you have the right partner, they can get you into the right thing. So where does Signal Connect come in? I'm glad you asked. So we're way more than a satellite TV dealer. We're known for DirecTV and Dish. We are awesome at that. In fact, we just won DirecTV Commercial Deal of the Year. We are insanely proud of that. But we do more than that. And so any kind of connectivity issue you have, whether it's TV, whether it is internet, whether it's voice, cellular, etc., we can fix it. And so the cool thing about us is that we're a retailer for not all ISPs, but a lot of ISPs around the country from coast to coast, right? We've got you covered no matter what state you're in. We've got a partner to work with on that. Doesn't matter if you're a home or a business, we've got you covered. So that means we're a one-stop shop. It doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter what you're in. It doesn't matter if you're in a house or a business, if you're in a car, if you're in an RV, we're the right people to work with. And again, we talked about cable internet earlier in bundles. I think everybody's used to bundling things, with internet, TV, etc. Bundles are available, especially depending on the carrier you go with. If they have multiple products available, chances are you're going to get a good discount. And so why work with us? So we're experts in this space. It means that you're going to get fitted for the right solution. Working with us means you don't have to call several companies. Like let's say that you're in an area with a lot of population and your internet is not good, right? You talk to your neighbor and they have something different. You talk to somebody else, they have something different. All of a sudden you're calling all these 1-800 numbers to try to get a quote. It's a pain. It makes that process take hours or days. If you call us, we can do all the work for you. We can figure out what's in your area, what the best option, and we can make recommendations. And then finally, we support you for the life of service. And so that means once you sign up with us, you can call us for anything outside of paying your bills to your vendor. We've got you covered around the clock. And so you need a quote. What do you need to do? You just give us a call. Our phone number, 888-233-6597. That reaches our team of internet experts. And what we're going to do is we're going to ask a lot of questions, right? How do you use internet? How many users are there? We're then going to take your address. We're going to do a search. And then we're going to get a general sense of what carriers are available. And then we're going to do a little bit of a deeper dive into each carrier that is available, find out what there is, and then we'll be able to make a good recommendation. And in most cases, we're going to be able to help. In some cases, we're not. In some cases, you're going to have the best thing out there. But if that is the case, we'll tell you that. So again, I'm here to help. My name is Mike Kokendorfer, again, sales manager for the Signal Group. My telephone number is 248-896-8601. Email address, Mike K, signalconnect.com. Landing page, signalconnect.com/coach. And then our tech support team, again, we've said this a number of times, but If you're having any kind of a connectivity issue, reach out to them. Their phone number, 877-312-4547, extension 6206, or VIP support at signalconnect.com. I'm telling you, we have the best support team in the country, bar none. And with that, I sure do appreciate everyone's time today, and we will see you guys again in a couple of weeks.